Feasibility means that studying different aspect of the project and then conclude that the project is feasible or not. Feasible means possible, meaning to say we should we should conduct different studies and apply different techniques before starting the project and find out that we should start the project or not, or the project is useful or not, or the project is possible or not. So before starting, we need to analyze different aspects of the project. Okay, so what are the different aspects? There are three major components of the project, and we will try to study today in a detail. Technical technical feasibility, okay, economical feasibility, and then organizational feasibility. These three different type of feasibilities are too much important. And once we go through this all these three type of feasibility, actually the project will be so much clear. The different aspect of the project of the system will be very clear, and then the organization can decide we should continue or not. We should continue the project or we should reject the project. There is a possibility that after the feasibility, we find out that no, this is not useful. And there is a possibility that, okay, after these studies, we conclude or we came to know that, oh, yes, this project is useful. Okay, so these different type of feasibilities we will do. So first of all, the technical feasibility. What is it? As the term technical implies, you see, it shows that actually this feasibility is about technicality, about the technical side, the technology, and the knowledge side. So you see the functional area. They, for example, are the analysts familiar with this portion of the business? If, for example, the analyst is not technological person, then maybe the analyst, system analyst can get help from someone else. Okay, and less familiarity with technology generates more risk. Meaning to say, you are trying to build a new system which is related about technology, like um, the software, hardware. Okay, it is a technology, but actually the system analysts don't know, or maybe the organization people don't know too much about technology, then it's a risk. Okay, then uh, what to do? You can actually hire a technological person. Okay, and project size, large projects have more risk. And compatibility, different integration increases. Okay, integration means that if the project has several components, okay, like this several components, so how later on all these components will combine into one system. This is called integration. And in a very simple words, technical feasibility is about that can we build it? You see, like the organization or the people inside the organization or the system analyst will ask from himself or herself, or maybe the organization people will ask from themselves that can we build the system? Do we have the potential? Do we have the skills that we can build the system? If yes, it means the organization have a technical staff and they will build internally. If they don't have these technical skills, then they may outsource, meaning to say they can give this project to outside company, Okay, outsource. So less familiarity means more risk. So even if you are outsourcing also and you don't know about technology, then maybe the people can cheat you, or maybe you cannot convey properly what you need. So because you don't know about technology, then you cannot convey what you need. So this will create an issue, and that issue can create a risk and later on may lead to failure. Okay, so in technical feasibility, the study is totally focusing on technical knowledge. Technical knowledge may be about software and maybe about a hardware. And it again depends on different technologies involved. Meaning to say, if it is a mobile application, so you see mobile and internet connectivity and blah blah, these are involved. It is if it is a desktop application, computer based, then again in computer based, it will be how it will be website and it will be sub application, and then it will be compatible with web also, it will be compatible with different operating system, Windows, Mac, and so on. So you see, all these aspects you will have to study and then come out with a conclusion that yes, we should, or no, we should not. So all the technical aspects will have to be studied very thoroughly. Next component is economical feasibility, and actually this is the most important one. Actually, technical is also important one, but the technical feasibility is, maybe if the organization don't have technical staff, so you can at least outsource to other companies and they can build for you. So meaning to say, without technical skill, still you can get a new system, and it is quite common. But economical visibility is such a thing which measures or which find out the the economical aspect, meaning to say the budget. That one thing is the budget. That do you have enough budget to build it? One aspect. Another aspect, okay, you have the budget, but let's think about the project, that the project is useful for the organization or not. Let's analyze in detail the cost and benefit of the project. So there are many different techniques to find out the cost and benefit of the project, and later on compare the cost with benefit and find out the final conclusion, if it is useful or not. So there are many different techniques which provide us the way that we can find in advance before starting the project that the project is useful or not. So these are the different techniques like net present value, return on investment, break even through. So these are the different techniques that using these economical techniques, we can analyze a system and we can decide that the project is useful or not. Okay, so let's go through about this one by one, that how the system works. So one technique is like this, like cash flow analysis and measure. So cash flow means that you will have to analyze in a detail that okay, when we are building the system, what we need to buy, what services we need. So all the possibilities that you will have to pay for that, meaning to say it will be your cost. So all the costs is flow cash flow out from the organization, and all the benefits is is flow of cash inside the organization. So cash flow in and cash flow outside the organization. This flow in and flow out you will analyze, and then you can think about them, and finally you can evaluate. For example, like this one, that you see, if you see here, most of the time when we are presenting this type of table, the current year is represented by year zero. Current year means that the year in which you are developing the system is not functional yet. So if it is not functional yet, so it means it cannot generate money, it cannot create benefits yet. So the profit will be totally zero in this year. So everything is expenses. Okay. So you see the profit is nothing. Okay. And expense is too much. So that current year is represented by year zero. So next year you see in year one, it started benefit 45,000, but still there are 10,000 10,000 expenses are there. This 10,000 maybe salaries or maybe some other thing. Then you see the total will be 100,000 and the 10,000. So next year 50,000 and 12,000. Next year like this. So total all the benefits will be total benefit, total profit, and all the cost will be the total cost. Okay. So net benefit will be, you see, the total cost, you see, total benefit minus total cost will be your net benefit. And cumulative net cash flow. So every year you will uh, you will show that how much money is going out of the system. Note the point, in the any value given in bracket means negative, and negative means the money is going out of the organization, meaning to say it is expense. Okay. Meaning to say we are in loss. So in the current year we are in loss this much, next year we are in loss this much, next year we are still in loss. Okay. And here you see this number is not in bracket, in the parenthesis. Okay. So without parenthesis means here the number is positive. So meaning to say now the system is not, the organization is not in loss anymore. It shifted from loss to benefit. So you see this chart is telling us that this organization will come out from loss to benefit in year three. So meaning to say two years, and basically if you consider the year zero also, then actually it is fourth year. Okay. So 2 or 3 years the organization will be continuously in loss. You are not earning anything. So you see it will clearly tell you, are you capable enough to survive for 2 or 3 years without any benefit? So if you can, then okay, continue. If you cannot, then you see the situation is very clear. So you can decide that we should continue or we should reject the project. I hope it's clear. Hello guys. Okay, next one. Yeah, you see I created this one that all the parentheses values are negative, and it means loss, and the final one is 1. Okay, these are the different formulas and different techniques that we can apply on the cash flow, the cash in and cash out from the system. So there are different economical, the economical people and the economic system has 12 different techniques for this. So one technique is called present value. Present value technique we will study in detail. This is the formula. And what it do is the amount of investment today compared with the same amount in future. Okay, we will talk about this in detail, don't worry. And net present value, return on investment, and break even too. These are the different mathematical techniques that we can find out that the project is useful or the project is non-useful. Okay, so let's go to these techniques one by one. So the first one, return on investment. A return on investment means that we will calculate measures the average rate of return earned on the money invested in the project. So the average rate, how much we will get back when we invest something. For example, if you invest 100, how much you will get on this 100? 1000, how much you will get? So the formula to calculate this return on investment is this one. ROI, return on investment, is equal to total benefits minus total cost divided by total cost. And if you remember the previous table, the total benefits were 152,000 and the total cost was 138,000. So the same values put here, you see 152,000 minus 138,000 divided by 138,000. So the values are like this, and the final conclusion is like this, that you see using this formula, it tells us that it will give you 10%, 10.14% benefit. Okay, but you see in this return on investment we calculated for at the end of third year. Okay, so it doesn't show the time limit. Okay, it just tells us the total cost. So it depends on which year you are calculating. Total cost minus total benefit divided by the total benefit minus total cost divided by total cost. So it will give you that you will earn this much money. It means that on every 100 ringgit, let's suppose every $100, we will get the benefit of 10.14. So you see, it clearly tells us that the project is useful if the calculations are like this. It is easy, then let's continue. Next technique is break-even point. Okay, what does it mean? You see, the break-even point, also called payback method, meaning to say when the project will pay back, meaning to say when the amount that we spend, okay, uh, uh, when it will give us back. And if you see, if you look at this one, actually it's like about the time that when the project will become uh, beneficial, or when the project will start earning. Okay, so it's defined that the number of years it will take. You see, it tells us the time. The previous method was telling us the percentage of benefits. This one is telling us the time, that how long it will take to recover its original investment, okay, in the project from the net cash flow. So meaning to say, from the cash flow we can calculate that, okay, when it will return, or when it will recover its original investment and will start earning and will start benefit. Okay, so actually it is like the year, or it tells us the time in which the cumulative cash flow, the cost and the benefit turns positive. So it means uh, start earning, become benefit. So the formula for this is what? Break even through point, the time is equal to the number of years of negative cash flow, meaning to say how many years you are in loss, and then that year's net cash flow, and that year's cumulative cash flow, and that year's net divided by that year's net cash flow. From the same previous table, if we put the values, okay, You see, actually, the 2 years the organization was in loss. If you go back, actually, if you go back, you can see here, you can clearly see here, you see the 2 years, year one and year two. This time the organization is in loss. So this is why the value is 2. Okay, the value is 2 plus 41 is the net cash flow. Okay, and the cumulative cash flow 14,000 and divided by the net cash flow. So after calculating all these values, you will get a number, and the number is showing 2.68, meaning to say like 2 years and almost 7 months. So after 2 years, 7 months, the system will become will start earning and will become uh, uh, will recover the original investment. So meaning to say after 2 years and 7 months, the amount that you invested, it will be recovered and it will start earning. So any confusion here? Any question? Okay, so let's continue. Next technique. Next technique is discounted cash flow technique. Is discounted cash flow technique is like this, that the previous all the previous techniques were not considering the time value of a money. Time value of a money means, okay, like you see, like a dollar received in future in 3 years later is worth less than a dollar received today. Are you agree with this? Hello guys, are you agree with this?
Yes.
Yeah, so it means you see the money in terms of time changes the value. For example, 10 ringgits, 10 Malaysian ringgits today, and the same 10 Malaysian ringgit after 3 years will not be the same. Maybe the value, the value down, okay, goes down. So by 10 ringgits, whatever you can buy today, maybe after 3 years, you cannot buy the same thing by 10 ringgit. So the price is going up and the value is going down. So meaning to say, we invest today, we invest today, and we are calculating after 3 years. So what about the decrease in value? The rest, the previous techniques was actually not considering this point. This discounted cash flow technique is considering this point. Okay, so it is like this, that the basic formula to convert a future cash flow into a present value. So meaning to say, you see, after 3 years, what will be the value of this amount? So after 3 years, we calculate today. So meaning to say, we are calculating for future, considering, keeping in mind the decrease in value of the money, and keeping in mind the increase of in the prices. Okay, so using this one, using the previous illustration is like this, that we were receiving $100 in a 3 years. If you remember, we got in the previous technique 10% increase. Okay, so 10% increase The previous technique was telling us that yes, the project is useful, but this one says that actually 100 ringgit today and 100 ringgit after 3 years will decrease that much that after 3 years the 100 ringgit will become equal to uh, 75.13. Okay, so after 3 years, don't think like the 100 is the same 100. No, the 100 ringgit will reduce that much that it will be equal to 75.13. And how to find out this? The formula is like this. The present value PV stand for present value is equal to the cash flow amount, whatever is the amount, divided by 1 plus rate of return. So the rate of return is the earning rate. Okay. And 1 plus rate of return raised to the power n. The n is the number of years in which the cash flow occurs. Like if you remember in the previous one, it was almost 3 years and the 10% was the return, okay, and the total cash flow. So if you apply these things there, you we can you see if you apply a simple value first, like 100 ringgit. So you see 100 ringgit after 3 years will be how much? 100 divided by 1 plus 0.10. The 0.10 is the return value cube, overall cube. So the calculation will become like this. So you see it will turn to 75. So meaning to say today 100 ringgit will be equal to 75 ringgit after 3 years. Is there any confusion or clear? Hello guys, clear? Okay, so if it is clear, then you see here all these values are different now. Okay, not the point, not the values. This one, like you see, 45,000 is the total benefit. So the present value benefit is 40,000. This one. Okay, total benefit is this one, but according to the present value, it will be the benefit will be this one. So you see, meaning to say that 45,000 today, after 3 years, the 45 will be equal to 40. The 50 after 3 years, after one more year again, you see, it will be, sorry, 45,000 after 1 year will be 40,000. 50,000 after 2 years will be 41,000. 55,000 after 3 years will be, sorry, it will be considered 42,000. Did you get what I mean? Actually, these values you will have to calculate like this, like 45, okay, 45 thousand divided by 1 plus the 10%, and how many years you are calculating for 1 year. So here will be 1. Next time here will be year 2, so will be 2 cube square. For the third year it will be cube. So in this way the values are recalculated. So if you go back, actually these values are different in the previous table. Okay, so according to this, the total benefit is like this. If you remember previously, the total benefit was 152,000, and now when we think from the time point of view, then the 152,000 become 125,000. Okay, and the total cost and the total cost is this much. So now from the total cost, you see. Now, if you think, you see, the cost is more and the benefit is less. And all the previous methods were telling that the project is in positive. The project is is earning money. But this one is saying no, it doesn't earning money actually. If you consider the time value of the money. Okay, so uh, this one is very much like accurate way. So you see here, this one. So the net present value means that you will subtract all the total benefits, the present value of benefits and the present value of the cost. Then you will get the net present value. Actually, it is the same thing like the previous one, but here is like uh, calculated together, the final one. Okay, so here if you see the value is enclosed in brackets, and any value which is enclosed in bracket here, it means in negative. So meaning to say it is still in loss. Okay, so the previous one was telling that you are earning 10%, but no, we are actually not earning, we are still in loss, because 100 ringgit today is not equal to 100 ringgit after 3 years. Okay, so this is the difference between the others and this one. So meaning to say all the others methods were not considering the time value. This one is considering the time value also. So you see, if you realize, these are all the different techniques that you can calculate before, and you can decide that should we continue the project or not. Okay, so like this type of calculation will be in the exams. I specifically reserved this calculation for midterm. Okay, this is why I didn't include any feasibility in the assignments. So you see, this type of calculation will be given, and you need to find out. You see all the formulas. The formulas you need to memorize. You see, net present value cumulative, net present value return on investment, break even proof. Okay, all these values you will have to calculate. The values are all given, the cost and benefits are all given. So if you remember the values, then you can easily understand, and you can easily calculate. Let's go ahead. Yeah, this is the break even point. Yeah, the break even point is graphically represented here. If you go to the value was 3 point something. So you see the 3 point something is graphically comes like this. So uh, graphically you can say that the point where the cost and the benefit cross to each other. So meaning to say the benefits become higher than the cost. Okay, so is like this organizational feasibility, the last one, last category. Previously was technical and economical, so this one organizational feasibility. This organizational feasibility is mostly about the users and the people in the organization. That the people will accept the system. You should note this point, and maybe you will be surprised that actually there are many organizations and there are many people I have seen personally, that many people opposing the new system. Even there are such a situation also. I think you will be so surprised that even the people in organization resisted that much, that even some of the employee uh, tried suicide, okay, due to the tension that, oh, the new system is coming, and then how to survive or how to do. And sometime when there is a manual system, then too much chances for corruption. Okay, and when the new system is coming in, then these issues can be stopped, and therefore the people will oppose. The people don't want. Okay, actually, I have personal experience that I have seen such organization that the system and the organization was like stopped, was not working for many years, only because of this, that the people inside the organizations, they were opposing. They don't want that everything should be documented, everything should be in the system, so then they cannot do corruption. Okay, so meaning to say, the last thing you should think about from within organizational point of view also. So one time the one thing that the system, the people will accept it. Okay, if they accept it, then after that again there are some issues. The new system, how the people will use it. Do Are they able to use it? Or they need some training? So training, some some mindset, and so many things from the organizational point of view. You will have to do that and get mentally ready for that. And once you calculate and think about this perspective also, then you can get a signal. You can decide that we should develop the system or not. Okay, so these are the main feasibilities, and these are the three most important aspects, okay, that you can decide about a project. So technical feasibility from technology point of view, economical feasibility from money point of view, budget point of view, and organizational feasibility from people mindset point of view, and from the people ability point of view. People ability, let me tell you that I have seen such organizations also, that they purchase a very high technology devices, but once they get it, actually in the organization there is no such person to use it. And then the technology, the devices are just rusting there. Okay, for many years nobody can use it. Okay, it is still like that. So they purchase, but nobody is using. So all these issues you will have to consider. And then after this three dimensional feasibility, actually you can decide. There may be other dimensions are also possible, but we are not going in that one into much detail. For example, like timing, okay, timing details, in some special situations, but we are not going in that much detail. These three are too much important. Okay, there are some other aspects, like if there are several projects, which one you should select, which one you should not select. I think it is a common logic that, okay, if there are several projects, okay, and then which one you select? Of course, which one is feasible, which one is economical, which one is more beneficial. Select that one and go ahead. So these the rest of the chapter and the rest of the slides are about just techniques, that once you select the project, then how to do it, like project management tools. Nowadays there are so many real-time project management tools available online. Okay, and then how to do it. You can maintain the progress. You can you can monitor the progress online. uh, so these are all about that. Like for example, estimating, project effort estimation, like how many people you need to do this thing. So we are not going in that much detail. These are different techniques that, okay, if this is the project, so how many people we need? Let's suppose we need 10 persons. For how long? For 3 years. So 10 people for 3 years. Then you see, calculate their salaries and their everything. So this is called efforts calculation. Okay, use case estimation. We will talk about this later in detail. Use case means that once you decide that, okay, we are going to develop this project, then you will design different use cases. Use case, a simple one, let's suppose, like, okay, how the people will register. This is one use case. Another use case, if someone forget the password, how to recover? This is another use case. If someone try a wrong password for many times, what to how to deal with that? Another use case. So this is called different possibility of using the system. It's called use cases. We will talk about this later. So I'm skipping because there is a complete chapter about this. And creating and managing the work plan. You see there are many tools online available, many tools offline available, and even on paper that how to manage the plan. Okay, divide the task and plan, and different techniques are used. For example, like the Gantt chart and so on. So I'm skipping this too much because actually it is not included in our